That's all right, the whole stadium didn't hear you. Like, yell right now.
Luka Doncic scored 26 points in a blowout win over the Golden State Warriors, but the biggest moment of the night didn't come from the scoreboard. Instead, it came from the sideline. During the game, Doncic ended up in a heated exchange with his own head coach, Redick. The situation got tense enough that Vanderbilt had to physically step between them to keep things from escalating. And it didn't end there. After the final buzzer, with the Los Angeles Lakers winning by 28 points, Doncic went to celebrate with his coach. He put his hand out for a high five. Redick left him hanging. The Lakers dominated the game, but somehow the drama on the sideline became louder than the scoreboard.
Redick is a little petty. We all know this. And Luka can annoy his coaches. We all know this. The interaction started with Luka not wanting to dap up JJ when he was coming to the bench. And then at the end of it, Luka offered JJ his hand to dap him up, and JJ wouldn't dap up Luka. And this is where folks can say this is hypocritical of me, but I just know I'm right. Luka not dapping up JJ is unfortunate but acceptable. JJ not dapping up Luka is unacceptable. JJ's got to be the adult. Last week, Chris Finch told Ant, "You're getting double teamed. Pass out of it." Then with 30 seconds left, did not pass out of it, hit an impossible three, and then screamed at Chris Finch. That's what I do. That's who I am, whatever it is. I don't even know if that's unfortunate, but I do know that's acceptable. The coach has to constantly, at least in public, be above it. And that's something where I think JJ can struggle.
So here's the real question. Does Redick actually have the authority to manage Luka Doncic the way a championship team requires? Or is this relationship already too strained to lead the Lakers on a serious title run? Drop your take in the comments. Because the moment that really exposed everything was the high five that never happened.
Done some good things last couple of weeks. Had some nice wins. But the Lakers came determined to stop their losing streak, which ends at 3.
The game had just ended. The Los Angeles Lakers had defeated the Golden State Warriors by 28 points. Luka Doncic finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. By any normal standard, that's a solid performance. When you win by that much, the usual routine is simple. You celebrate the win. You acknowledge your teammates. You head to the locker room. But that's not what happened. Instead, Doncic walked toward Redick and extended his hand for a high five. Redick kept walking. He didn't look back. He didn't acknowledge it. He just walked away, leaving his own star player standing there with his hands still in the air. A fan sitting in the stands caught the moment on camera. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Because that silent moment revealed more about the tension between player and coach than any post-game interview ever could. But to understand why that moment happened, you have to rewind a few plays earlier.
Lakers are up this big. Doncic only has 6 points. He has 4 assists. Horford tries a 3 and knocks it down.
With about 3 minutes left in the first quarter, the sequence that started everything unfolded. Gua Santos missed a layup, but Luka Doncic hustled for the offensive rebound and finished the play. That part was fine. But on the very next possession, Doncic forced a contested 3 over Spencer Dinwiddie and missed. You could already see frustration building on the sideline. Redick wasn't happy. Then the defensive breakdown happened. Doncic failed to communicate a switch with Jackson Hayes, leaving DeAnthony Melton wide open for 3. Melton knocked it down. That was the moment Redick had seen enough. He turned to LeBron James and told him to check in. Redick then walked toward the scorer's table, the universal signal that a substitution was coming. Doncic noticed immediately. And he wasn't happy about it. With 56 seconds left in the quarter, he told his coach directly. "Let me finish." Not a request. Not a question. A statement.
It looks like Luka had a little something extra for JJ. I mean, I'm not going to say that Luka wanted to throw the hands or anything like that, but definitely it appears as if he took exception to whatever Redick was saying or trying to say to him.
Redick clearly felt that Doncic hadn't earned the right to stay on the floor after the defensive mistakes. Meanwhile, LeBron James, who was preparing to enter the game, immediately sensed the tension. He gave Doncic a quick pat on the chest. The kind of quiet veteran gesture that basically means, relax. This isn't the moment. But Doncic didn't want the interaction. He turned away from Redick and waved him off. That's when Redick said 4 direct words to his star player in the middle of the game. What's your problem? Think about that moment. Your head coach asking that question in front of teammates, the bench, cameras, and thousands of fans in the arena. Doncic fired back that he hadn't done anything wrong. Redick responded with a blunt instruction. Sit down. Doncic clearly didn't take that well. That's when Vanderbilt stepped in. Vanderbilt physically moved between them and told Doncic to go sit back down. That intervention likely stopped the moment from turning into something far worse. The game eventually ended. The Los Angeles Lakers won comfortably. And then came the moment everyone is still talking about. Doncic reached out for a high five. And Redick walked right past him.
How common, as a player, as a coach, are these kinds of interactions?
Yeah, I didn't think much of it at the time, to be honest with you. I don't think Luka did either. I mean, he and I have a great relationship. I really value our relationship. And I think those things happen, not every game, but they happen very frequently. And, sometimes you have to rehash them with a player or, as a teammate, sometimes it happens player to player. It's a competition.
JJ Redick addressed the situation during his pregame press conference before the next matchup. According to Redick, the moment wasn't a big deal. He said he didn't think much of it at the time and that he didn't believe Luka Doncic thought much of it either. Redick described their relationship as strong and explained that heated exchanges between players and coaches happen all the time in competitive environments. Not necessarily every game, but often enough that, to him, the moment felt completely normal. He even admitted he was surprised the clip went viral. But that explanation raises an interesting question. Because there are really only 2 possibilities here. The first possibility is that Redick is completely telling the truth. In professional basketball, intense moments between coaches and star players happen regularly. Film sessions get heated. Practices get heated. Games get heated. If that's the case, the viral clip may simply be a rare moment where a camera captured something that usually happens behind closed doors. But there's also a second possibility. And that possibility is that Redick is doing what coaches often have to do publicly: protect the relationship, downplay the conflict, and maintain a professional front so the team can keep functioning. Because the truth is, this wasn't the first time this season where Doncic and the coaching staff appeared to be out of sync. Earlier in the season during a game against the Orlando Magic, Doncic passed up an open shot with only seconds remaining. LeBron James immediately called for the ball. Doncic passed it to him. LeBron took the shot and missed. After the play, Doncic was visibly frustrated. He told the coaching staff directly that he had followed instructions. He said he had been told to pass the ball, so he did. His frustration wasn't about the missed shot. It was about the situation he had been put in. That moment revealed something deeper than a normal basketball complaint. It revealed a true and trust issues between star players and coaching staffs don't disappear overnight. Then there was another tense moment during a game against the Sacramento Kings. Russell Westbrook tried to get into Doncic's head verbally during the game. Luke Kennard stepped in to defend Doncic. At the same time, Maxi Kleber got into a confrontation with Malik Monk after a hard foul. Things escalated quickly, and multiple players had to step in to calm the situation down. Through all of it, Doncic watched the chaos unfold. And his reaction wasn't shock. It looked more like the expression of someone who had already experienced enough drama during the season to stop being surprised by it. Which is interesting when you consider the numbers Doncic has put up since joining the Los Angeles Lakers. He's averaging 30.9 points, 8.2 assists, and 7.8 rebounds. Those aren't the numbers of a disengaged player. Those are the numbers of one of the most productive stars in the league. But the environment around those numbers tells a different story. The sideline arguments. The communication breakdowns. The high-five moment. All of it paints the picture of a team that has elite talent, but not always the internal harmony required to turn that talent into postseason success. And that brings us back to Redick. Because his situation is incredibly complicated. JJ Redick stepped into this job without prior professional coaching experience. Immediately, he was asked to manage one of the most complex locker rooms in the league. A 40-year-old superstar in LeBron James. A generational offensive talent in Luka Doncic. And a rising playmaker in Austin Reeves trying to carve out his role alongside two ball-dominant stars. Meanwhile, the team's defense has struggled, ranking near the bottom of the league despite the offensive firepower on the roster. Redick is essentially learning on the job. And doing that while managing personalities like Doncic and LeBron is one of the toughest assignments any first-time coach could face. The defensive issues highlight the challenge clearly. Doncic has never been known as a strong defender. Even when he played for the Dallas Mavericks, the roster was built around his offensive brilliance while accepting the defensive limitations that came with it. Redick can ask him to communicate switches. He can ask him to stay in front of his man. He can even signal a substitution when mistakes happen. But he can't completely change the type of player Doncic has always been. What he can control is the relationship. And the high-five moment suggests that relationship is still a work in progress. In the middle of all of it, Jared Vanderbilt might have been the quiet hero of the entire situation. When things started escalating, Vanderbilt didn't take sides. He didn't raise his voice. He simply stepped between them and created enough space to stop the moment from getting worse. That kind of awareness is exactly what championship teams rely on: players who can read a situation and diffuse it before it explodes. Later, Vanderbilt even joked about the moment with Doncic, using humor to ease the tension. Right now, the Los Angeles Lakers sit 6th in the Western Conference with a 36-24 record. They're competitive. They've shown they can dominate games when everything clicks, like the 28-point win over the Golden State Warriors. But that win also came against a Warriors team missing key players like Stephen Curry. That's why analysts like Charles Barkley pointed out that the victory showed the Lakers' ceiling on a good night but didn't necessarily prove what would happen against fully healthy contenders like the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs. Because the sideline exchange with Redick happened during an easy win. Imagine what the situation looks like in a close playoff game when every possession matters and tensions are even higher. Redick insists everything is normal. Maybe he believes that. But the camera captured something very real. A star player waving off his coach. A coach questioning his star player in the middle of the game. And a high five left hanging after a 26-point performance. That doesn't look like a perfect relationship. It looks like a partnership under pressure. For now, professionalism and players like Jared Vanderbilt are holding things together. But the real test is still coming. The Los Angeles Lakers are 6th in the West. The playoffs are approaching. And Luka Doncic is still going to be Luka Doncic, a generational offensive talent who isn't afraid to speak his mind. JJ Redick is still going to be the coach trying to manage it all. And based on what we've seen so far, he might need a little luck. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective, hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments. Do you think JJ Redick can actually manage Luka Doncic long-term? Basketball.